always a shame. It's a good one. Well, good evening, everybody, or good afternoon here. Welcome to the Jimmy Palumbo Show, show number 222. This is 4.25 years here of doing this fine program, the Jimmy Palumbo Show. Now, I got a lot of things to talk about. And, of course, behind the glass, your friend and mine, Mr. Dave Sturcio, wearing his wife's Yankee hat here today. Once again, I have yelled at you for wearing awful hats, but this one, at least it's an interlocking NY, but in the reverse, that little band across the brim there.
It's a rope hat, dude. They're in now.
The rope hat. Okay, they're in there. Makes you look thinner. Also makes you look like you may want to date men, but still, it's fine hat here at Shea.
25.
I see that you're very tan or sunburned.
Oh, yeah.
Because someone decided, even though it was semi-business, hey, honey, I'm going to Point Pleasant tomorrow and drink my face off.
Listen, we were invited guests to go into the VIP area, and the only way I would go to that is a VIP area because I will not mingle with that crowd.
At the Tiki Bar?
Yeah.
What's the VIP area? You're on a pier.
No, it's downstairs. First of all, it's downstairs. You saw where the wrestling event was last year.
Right.
It's downstairs. It's roped off, and there's high top bar tables where you could just chill and put all your stuff and umbrellas, right? So, but if you're not in that VIP area, you're in the pit, and you are you're waiting 20 minutes for a drink. We had our personal bartender. It was
sometimes you don't have the sometimes the VIP area doesn't have the deep speed. Did they have deep speed there? Was it LSU day at the stadium? Okay.
Here's the thing. There were some deep speed. And then there was also those that looked like they could be offensive linemen for my beloved Dallas Cowboys. Listen, shout out to those people who don't give an ounce of a shit what they look like. The thongs are out no matter what. And I'm just like,
I find the Tiki Bar lately has been, you walk in and you feel like it's LSU, Georgia, Auburn. And then all of a sudden, it's Rutgers and Villanova recruiting in football, and
there
you're
was
like,
a couple
okay.
There was a couple NIT first round exits out there, and I was like,
absolutely, I totally.
But then that made me start feel good about myself. I was just like,
you were feeling it, huh?
No, I was just like, look, I listen. I am the worst, and maybe worse than you, as far as when it comes to self-conscious, self-deprecating. I am the worst. But watching guys
pretty built.
I listen. I take pride in the work I've put in, but I also, and I was trying to find a happy medium lately, and I had a come to Jesus moment yesterday at the bar. And I'm looking around, and the guys are either Michelangelo chiseled out of stone, and you're like, Jesus Christ, you haven't enjoyed a meal in I can't even tell you how long, or there is 450-pound guys with their guts hanging out, blah blah blah. Right. I think I'm right there in the middle where I'm just I know I can back myself up, protect my family, and I can also eat and drink the way I want. I am officially announcing myself as Tony Soprano. That's where I think I am right now in my venture.
I think so you're saying you're going to finish 8th in the Big Ten.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But nationally ranked along the line.
You're a youngster. If you think people down the shore are chiseled, back in my rookie year when I was 22, 23, it was during the steroid era, which was before the steroid era in the major leagues. Where the steroids, I think they were created on the Jersey Shore. There were guys there that their arms were bigger than my body.
There was a couple guys
and they'd be with a little blonde, to be a big fat bastard, but not fat, just it looked like a chisel, truly, with a little blonde. And you start going, how did they fuck? I mean, that's right, what a mess over there.
Right.
And this is before anybody knew
there was a couple couples where I saw them walking around. I'm like, if he gets on top, it's over for her. You know what I mean? He might destroy her. So,
I'm glad you got your day off.
It was a very successful marketing venture.
I like the Tiki Bar. I do. Yes. I usually go once a year.
That's
even back in the day.
Once a decade.
we always had a Tiki Bar day at Shea. But of course, this is show number 222, and that means rolling off my tongue, everybody's fan favorite is, of course, Jim Mason getting involved here. Jim Mason, who was the only player in 1976 to hit a home run for the Yankees in a 4-0 loss to the Big Red Machine. Also, the number 22 to me is dedicated to Stephen Denny and anybody over 55, okay? Because you got Roger Clemens, obviously, but you got Ellsbury. Then you got Jimmy Key, pitching for the Yankees. You got Jerry Mumphrey, the classic shitty Yankee. Louis Polonia, who almost got caught doing some bad things.
Polonia wasn't 21 before O'Neill got there?
Well, he was listed as 22. Maybe he had 1 or 2 years there. Allie Reynolds, all-star pitcher for the Yankees in the 50s, who literally has 11 rings with Yogi Berra. And, of course, this is Jim Gordon alongside Dick Lynch. Football Giants are on the air. And Dick Lynch was number 22, who was the classic announcer on the Giants with Jim Gordon, who would be like, well, they're running the ball. They're not. It was great. Love listening to him. Then you got Ray Rhodes, which is only funny to me.
Ray Rhodes?
Ray Rhodes.
Coach of the Eagles or no?
Yeah, back in the day, of
course.
That's
him,
Then you got Felipe Sparks.
Who tackled me at a golf outing. Yeah, that was a good time.
There you go. Good for him. And also Rocky Thompson, who was a first-round draft pick for the Giants in 71, 18th pick. And he was the only guy who was a complete bust. It's like the worst. My uncle to this day was like, hey, we don't need a Rocky Thompson. I think we've had some awful draft picks since then, but for years, Rocky Thompson was considered a bust. Then, of course, we got your friend and mine, Emmitt Smith. But more importantly, Mr. Bob Hayes, who was a player. Bullet Bob Hayes. Only player to have an Olympic gold medal and a Super Bowl ring.
What's the guy that went and acted on Texas Walker Ranger or whatever? Who was that one? That was a cowboy too. I'm just trying to. I thought it was Bob Hayes, but it could be wrong.
No, well, the funny thing about Bob Hayes,
who the hell was his name? Shit. All right, I'm gonna draw a blank.
I know who it is. He played for the Rams too.
I'm not sure. I thought it was. I thought for sure.
I'll figure that name will come. Oh, God, my brother's going to yell at me right now because he's shouting out the name. But I'll tell you one thing. If you didn't think Bob Hayes was fast, he ran a 70-yard dash, 6.9.
Lance Allworth.
That can't 6.9. Yeah, that's not it. 6.9, 70-yard dash. That's flying. He also was one of the greatest the kicker on the relay team, the last guy. I suppose an Olympic yanker. When I say kicker, the anchor kicker. The kick is up and good. No kickers running a 6.9 70-yard dash, but he's supposedly one of the best anchors ever. They say he had a decent career. He got involved with drugs and everything. I laughed because I love when you dig a little deeper in my research. He got denied the Hall of Fame because he definitely was a little bit of I think he got involved with drugs at the end of his career, in retirement, but when he finally got in, he was dead. And his sister read a letter thanking the Dallas, Texas. He went to Texas, not Texas A&M, one of those Texas schools. And all this different stuff. But then it was like someone looked at the letter and supposedly it was off a computer font that hadn't been invented yet. And
Arial black.
Some people were like, what is that? And then finally, supposedly the letter, it wasn't his sister who read the letter, and the letter wasn't real. I'm like, this guy Bob Hayes, give him a break. But that's it. Number 22, 222 show here. Bob Hayes getting involved. And of course, I will tell you, it is hot outside. And we're going to get to what I'm wearing in a second. But of course, it's the baseball card portion of the show. And this guy is a classic. This is why I do it. That's why I do this segment. My brother hates it. Then he loves it. This guy here, everybody knows, your friend and mine, Mr. Joe Johnson. Now, this guy, Joe Johnson, was 20-18, 3 years in the bigs, 4.48 ERA, played with Atlanta and Toronto. He was traded for a guy nobody knows. He was in 86, though. He was 7-2 with a 3.89 ERA here at Shea. He made about $100,000 a year for 2 years. And the best part about this guy is I really tried to find anything on him. He's alive and he's 65 and I can't find anything on Joe Johnson.
I found the name of the guy.
Who was his name?
Clarence Gillard Jr.?
No, I don't know that.
James Trevette? James Trevette in Walker,
I'm thinking
Texas
it's
Ranger.
someone-
James Trevette, played by Clarence Gillard, was a Dallas Cowboy who was a wide receiver for the team until a shoulder injury ended his career, and then he started casting. Again, I thought it was somebody more.
Now I got to look, find out what his number was, and I'll if it's anywhere
Clarence
near.
Clarence
Gervette getting involved. So that's it. Joe Johnson, complete nobody. Don't know where he is. Tried to look him up.
You can't look up a Joe Johnson.
It's tough. It's like there's like
results.
First of all, there's like 11 running backs in the NFL named Joe Johnson.
There's 9 in the league right now.
I know. So I had some trouble, but baseball not as many. Now let's discuss.
First of all, explain your hat.
Okay, this
you made fun of my hat.
First of all, well, please. More importantly, I'm wearing a sweater that is one of those.
I'm sweating
sweaters.
Just watching you wear that sweater.
First of all, I have the AC at 61 right now. Okay, I wore this because Darryl Clark was shopping somewhere, or I saw something online. One of the fans of the show and Patreon member, of course, he sent me this sweater in the mail as a gift. So I am wearing an early giant winter sweater on the hottest day of the year from the Omni. And that's the way it is. And also, so a big shout out to Darryl Clark for doing that. I'm definitely going to wear this. It's going to be my winter gear for going to watching Giant games when they're like 3
ugly sweater party or ugly
sweater day here at Shea. Also, I got to discuss this hat. Now, I was on a date with a girl, probably 1993.
Already.
92. Okay, back in the day, I was probably batting like 245, a couple of ding dongs. And we were going to the Holland Tunnel with this girl, and the date was going horribly. I was definitely like 4th inning. I scattered 12 hits. It was 5-1. It was getaway day Thursday. They were going to let me go the full 7. They were not going to burn the bullpen here. And I was like, oh, man, what am I doing? And you had to pay like cash back then. It was so easy pass. So I pull up, and I'm like, I see this guy's wearing this hat. And it's like, because it was new back then. I'm like, that's a cool hat. It just says Holland Tunnel. That's funny to me. Like, who wears a Holland Tunnel hat? And she's like, why are you talking to him in the car? I'm like, I like the guy's hat. And the guy laughed. He smiled. And I happen to have I had $20 in where you keep your coffee in the middle of the coffee. I'm on a date. Where you keep the middle of the car there. I said, hey, I change cup. There you go. Dave with the quick between kicker and anchor.
Change cup is also an Artie Lang line from Beer League.
Yes, from Beer League. Yes, you Downs. Those of you scoring at home. So I pull up on a quick 3 at the timeout. So I had the $20. I handed it to the guy. After I paid the toll, I said $20 for the hat. This guy with no hesitation. When I tell you no hesitation, the hat flipped off his head, it was tossed into my car. The girl was like, "What are you doing? That's so disgusting." And we could tell it was a new hat, So I thought it was the funniest thing ever. The date was going bad. I put the hat on during the date. She was ready to kill me. So with that, a couple days later, I had an audition. I had to play a blue-collar guy for a big casting director for the show Spin City. So this must have been 95. This must have been. I got it.
Was that your first? Was that your first thing?
Yes. And I go in there, and I was doing live on tape at the time, so I was definitely seeing the ball well. And I go in there, and so the guy had to be like a blue collar guy, and I thought it would be funny to wear the hat to the audition because I knew people were like, Holland Tunnel, what the fuck is that? So I walk into the room, I do the thing, and she right away was like, "What is that hat?" I told her. I abbreviated, I was out with a girl. I took the kid around. I got the $20, got the hat. And she was like, okay. So we, looking at me like I was an oil painting. So then I do the scene and blah, 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 I get done. Then I get a call back a couple days later, right? It's Darryl Clark with a quick 3. And they go, we need Jimmy back for the callback. And please, he must wear the hat. Supposedly they videotaped it. One of the producers thought it was funny, just like I did. And I went in there, and so this Holland Tunnel hat got me a booking, my first regular television booking. And you got to remember, I got paid very well because I was there all week. And plus that show, this is before the reality show days, that show aired 3 times and repeats. So this hat probably over the years in 30
So you made
years.
your money back, is what you're saying.
Made my money back. This hat probably made me, I'm going to say this hat made me maybe $20,000. There you go. I say, okay? So everybody wants to talk it over right there.
Next week's program, I'm going to show up with a George Washington Bridge hat. And you're
there
like,
you
where'd
go.
you get that? Like, I got to land something.
I got to land something. They don't even, I even searched. They don't have anything like this. But, so that is that. So
the hat with residuals.
Yeah, the hat with residuals. That's great. Which I think is so hysterical. It's 100 degrees. I will switch this off in a second. Sorry, Daryl. It's 110 degrees. Which brings me up another thing. It is. I don't know if anybody listening who's not from New Jersey. When the news people on Eyewitness News and then News 12 say, anyone over 80, please stay inside. You're like, it's not that bad. Well, let me tell you something. It is hot in New Jersey right now. Great for my tomato plants here at Shea. But it is, I'm telling you, man, is anybody not from Jersey right now? Woo.
It's like shut down kidneys, liver type shit.
Yes,
like it was. So yesterday I'm drinking and I'm like, oh man,
I can't. I would have.
The drive home, I was fine. You know why I was fine? Because for every drink that I consumed,
you sweated it out.
Right out. I was like, and then I jumped in the water a couple of times. The Atlantic Ocean, the beautiful Atlantic Ocean.
And the ocean's 8 degrees.
I felt it's great, but it's also I'm growing another horn somewhere because of the pollution and disgust that is the Jersey Shore. But it was so hot.
Bad. They're not that bad, bro. Don't look, the Jersey Shore. Come on,
whatever. No. There was articles literally shutting down the Jersey Shore beaches for like a couple weeks due to overpollution. So
it's also when it rains a lot.
It was 2 weeks ago. It was 2 weeks ago.
You should go to California, see those beaches over there. But I get it. It's it is what you got to do. But garbage in, garbage out. What is Tyson Hogan saying?
Well, it's probably because like the alcohol was in and alcohol was out. I was Tyson Hogan's also saying we need some chasing miracles. That would have really done me justice yesterday. Some of those
had the patches on.
Not only just the patches, but they got the hydration packs and shit. So that would have been clutch. But yeah, it was brutal. And then to the point where today I left the house to go to the gym and I was like, oh my God. Like I couldn't even breathe. It was like 8:00 and I was like, this is ridiculous.
I had to run an errand and I was like, ooh, the Knicks want to talk it over. You know what? This is the kind of day when you step outside, you look like Patrick Ewing at the start of a Knick game. That joke is so funny to any real Knick fan. I've never met a guy, Patrick Ewing, at the tip-off, was sweating the way I looked when I ran my 5K at the end of the race.
I usually say you're sweating like Patrick Ewing at the free throw line. But then there's an entourage line where he says to Drama, I haven't seen somebody sweat that much since Patrick Ewing retired. So Patrick Ewing was a sweater. But I tell you what, anybody, I pray, like I have a wall unit in my attic. You walk up here, it was a sauna this morning. And I was like, man, I turned it on, but I'm like, right now, I'm like, feeling a little woozy. I should have went down the Chop Studios today, but I stayed home because my daughter's home and stuff, and she hasn't moved from the couch.
So you don't have the air on right now?
I have the air on. It's not. The central air was on yesterday. Said it's 69, right? But the house read 80 all day. Like we stood no chance.
You're in an older house with the
Yeah.
Not exactly. Insulation day here at the stadium.
Got the jug.
But he's got the jug of water.
Poland
Springs, made from the best stuff on earth. The old one is in there. Of course, shout out to my Patreons. We're still stuck at 51. No one else is having kids. We may be at 51 for a while. But a shout out, obviously, to Daryl Clark for me wearing his sweater. A shout out to another thing, Dying Breed Garage.
Another thing.
But I got another person I got to shout out to. Your friend and mine, Janine Michaud. Now, those of you who have been scoring at home, she lost her cat, right? The cat ran away, 18 years old, named DJ after Jeter. And 2 weeks, everybody was like, hey, you know what, Jay Bird? Cat, it could be over. She gets a little tip from Facebook. Some woman, hey, is this your cat? She's like, oh, my God, it is. So she's been at this shed at this neighbor's house, like, I don't know, 30, 40 yards away. And she's sitting there all night long, listening to the Yankee game, of course, while sitting there, hoping the cat comes out. Well, DJ made an appearance in front of her, and instead of getting a towel and throwing it on the cat, she just grabbed the cat. Now, this cat is 18 years old, thinning, probably dying. And
I was also exposed to
whatever the hell
wildlife
out there, wildlife, ticks, shit, dog, whatever the hell. And the cat went nuts and scratched her, but also really bit her on the hand, a real nice. And she knew that might happen. That she screamed at the guy who owns the house, "Hey, get me a towel!" They got a towel. They got her into the miracle that they found this thing. They put her in a crate. They went right to one of those 24 emergency things, and so she was sitting there, and all of a sudden her hand starts to explode. They're checking out the cat, taking blood, getting the cat, whatever they do at a vet office. And all of a sudden she's like, "Hey, I did get bit." And the doctor's like, "Hey, don't fuck around with that. As soon as you're done here, go to the emergency room." She's like, "What?" Cat scratch fever. Supposedly, I always knew that when cats bite you, it's a different thing than when a dog bites you. Something to do with the way they lick themselves all the time. So you get, I don't know. Bottom line is she started to look like Bone Crusher Smith with her hand, or Clubber Lang, I should say. And she got the cat back to the house, which I would have, I love Janine, but I would have been that cat. That cat bit
the cat would have had to talk it over.
Yeah, the cat would have been featured on show number 318. There's 18 years DJ passes away when he bit Jimmy Palumbo, and he punted from deep in his end zone. But she ended up in the hospital for, like, a matter of fact, I don't think she's out yet. Oh, she just got out.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, she's all banged up. Antibiotics. They had an infectious disease. She got all fucked up over this cat. But she has no fever or anything, so they're confident. But so I told this to a buddy of mine. He's like, "Hey, the guy down the street?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "They almost cut his arm off. Doctor said if you didn't get here, if the antibiotics, he got bit by his own cat. If you didn't get here," because he was like, most guys are like, fuck it, I just got bit. He was like, it went all through his body. He was in the hospital for 9 days. His face blew up. And I'm like, you know what? This is an advertisement for don't get cats, get a dog. When you come home, the only one who loves you is the dog. Everyone else hates you.
Have your cats spayed and neutered. And now we're about
have them declawed, whatever you got to do.
Listen, when I grew up, I had 2 cats and they were both declawed. That was the standard.
They don't do that. They don't do
that shit no more. Like, now I got 2 cats that just have torn up the fucking certain things in my house. I'm like, dude, get rid of the cats first.
I say you go see the Play Cats, sing the song "Memory" as you get rid of the cat. But anyway, shout out to Janine.
I'll be in the dog market soon enough.
Hope she's doing. Yeah, please, that's coming.
I know. Stella's already asked, like, "Daddy, can we get a dog?" I'm like, "Oh,
yeah, you'll say."
I was like, "I need a gate first. You've been in my backyard. I don't have a gate in my, like, it was just like open. I got to get a fence." So, like, we're doing the whole backyard now, and it's like, oh god.
Do you want to talk it over?
I had to send the guys home yesterday. By the way, I wasn't home, but like, I told Steph, I was like, "Yo, they can't be out in this heat. Like, they just can't. They're gonna die in our yard."
You called a timeout. Very nice of you.
I was like, they gotta go. Like, there's no way. And then all of a sudden they're like, "Yeah, we're not coming back tomorrow or Wednesday because it's gonna be the same shit." And I was like, it's just a little convenient though. I gave them their first deposit on Sunday, and all of a sudden, 3 days in a row, they're gone. I'm like, "Oh god, here we go."
Well, just tell them you work for ICE. They won't come back for 6 months.
No, they're not.
Let's talk about
it. They're legal registered Americans in the world.
Fine. That's hard work. I saw a guy. I got a fence done.
Did you?
I was like, one guy just dig the holes. Oh my God. I was like, dude, I wouldn't do that. I swear to God, and you'd have to pay.
I might call ICE on my next door neighbor though. He might have to leave.
All right. Well, if he's being a jerk, you got to do what you got to do. Also, a shout out to the entire Hogan family for the wonderful support. And all right. Well, that's it. So in terms of my lovely Patreon, and don't forget, shit your body needs, chasingmiracles.com. The patches, go check them out. They got all kinds of things on there. Patches and stem cell things and all these different powders you can take.
Keep you alive in heat like this. There you go.
Keep you alive when things aren't, this, that, and the other thing. So go to chasingmiracles.com. Talk to Tommy and Donna. I love them. They love me. They're big fans of the show for day one, going way back early, and Artie Lang and Jimmy Palumbo, early career. That's how she used to be a talent manager. DK in the house. Well, big news coming out of the Mahwah Softball League on ESPN. Anybody who's what?
I titled the episode with this news. I did.
Okay. Well, listen, the bottom line is the aging LeBron, playing in sweltering 97 degrees here. I was 2 for 3.
Wait. Before you get into the main story, can we talk about the fact that your 27-something-year-old GM was like, I called the league. We should still be playing. He told me that yesterday. I was like, dude, it's 110. Like, what are you playing?
Our manager, Nick, great guy. He's so into softball. He's a life. He's the way I was back in the day. The game should have been canceled. It was like stifling, but he made the league because they got the managers together. Like, we want to play. It's an adult league. We want to play. I was like, he's all excited telling me on the phone, and I'm like, dude, what are you, stupid? And he's like, yeah, but it'll get hotter. We'll have to play a doubleheader. I'm like, no, you just extend the league. I don't know doubleheaders here, Shay.
You'll be playing into September.
So of course, I was a 9th round draft pick last year. Then I slipped to the 10th round this year.
Man, do they regret that now?
And do they regret that? Because in the the top of the 3rd inning, in a kind of a 4-1 game, we were better than them. We were rolling along. Palumbo got up here. Johnny Trinno gets up with the bases loaded with 2 outs and 2 strikes. And I'll tell you what, I was, I was like a young Giancarlo.
2 strikes. Did you foul one off, or did you actually take a pitch?
No, the first pitch landed for a strike, hit the corner of the plate.
I thought I just remember you as a swing first pitch.
I always do, but this one just caught me weird. And you start out with 1-1 count, so it's 1-2 right away. And then, of course, deep into the night, I hit a frozen rope, man. Listen, I usually hit the ball like a Girl Scout. I'm a Punch and Judy hitter, and this ball just went deep into the night. I smoked this between the left fielder and left center fielder. I mean, all the way for a grand slam. And once I got close to 3rd, they were like, "No, you're up." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna drop dead." And I literally walked home just like a couple of steps for my first grand slam in probably 30 years at Shea. A legitimate though. Every guy was like, "Dude, you smoked that one. You smoked that. Felt good." Of course, next time up, I rope another. I did basically 2 for 3 on the day. My batting average now this year, I did some math. I'm batting .578. Okay. Then I realized, what do I got to do to bat 7? I have to go 8 for 8 the next 2 weeks. I think I can do that. Batting .706 is impossible.
And then they go over to you, and the ESPN cameras pan to you on the sidelines, and you're the guy with the oxygen over his face. Can't breathe.
Now, of course, remember I told you earlier there was an older guy on the team. Mm-hmm. The first week I was like, "Who's this guy?
He's dead now."
No. Well, he was batting like 800. He walked and got a hit. That's all he did. So I told him, I was like, "Dude, you're like the best." He's like, "Yeah." Of course, he was 0 for 4 with 4 dribblers to the pitchers. His batting average dropped.
Are you leading your team in batting average?
There's a couple of guys. You know what? I'm up there, maybe 3rd, 4th. No, I got to see the stats in. We're 4 games in a row. Of course, we got to play tomorrow night. It's supposed to be 90 degrees again. So I think
I hit 1 triple in my entire life, and when I was done with that, I was sucking wind for like 4 hours.
I never would have. If it was. Because we play on turf, and if you beat a guy, if you split him, the ball just it's not like it's grass, it just goes. But
it's a turf infield too.
Yeah, full turf. Which I played. I had some. I know what, I'm good at playing on turf. There's no hops, so you just play it like a goalie. Only thing is I can't. My new thing is I used to be like a little lazy when the ball comes in. I realized I have to set up literally like I'm a goalie about to get a slap shot from the blue line. Because if I don't do that, I can't move. My range is shitty as it is. I get set.
You're playing first base, right?
I was playing second yesterday.
So when a lefty steps up, are you playing in the outfield grass?
Well, no? I stopped doing that because then the ball skips like a golf ball too many times.
Yeah, it's gonna get right up. You're gonna olay that shit.
Right. So you got to get right up. And I told the guy, listen, if it's to my right or left, maybe a step or two, but like it's a base hit. But I made a couple of nice plays at second. clearly. But, I was making jokes after the game about going to Kiner's Corner and kidding around. Like one kid was like, one young kid, cocky kid, really good player. He's 27 years old. I was busting his balls because I was like, do you realize that no one in this league has as many hits as I do? This is like I am the LeBron James of this league. He's like, what do you mean? You're not the best player. I'm like, no, but I'm 60. I've been doing this since I'm 18, and I'm having a good year this year. Even though at the end of last year I did tail off. If you remember anybody scoring at home, but it was good to get the win. Good to be able to run with the kids. But I realized it yesterday. Like my time is so numbered with this. These young kids are 27 years old. They're like, and I can tell they're just. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to end up getting one of these days. I'm going to take a ball to the face. I'll be out for the year. I do have a huge. You know what? I got to take the sweater off. So Dave Sturgeon, talk about what's going on with your wrestling event.
July the 15th, if anybody's asking or scoring at home, we are going to be putting on a massive event if you're on the Jersey Shore. The War on the Shore 2. It's a professional wrestling event. We're promoting it. It's going to be fantastic. Can't wait. Pre-sale is ridiculously great. Last year was a great one. Jimmy and Deej showed up. It was a lot of fun. I think that it's going to be even bigger and better this year. We've hired a new guy to run the production, and it's going to be great. So if you're a pro wrestling fan, if you're from New Jersey, venture on down to the Jersey Shore. It's on a Tuesday night, July the 15th. And it'll be a lot of fun. So a lot of legends and a lot of cool shit. And Jimmy's back, so we'll call it a day. Look at that. You got a Jimmy Palumbo
show
collared shirt. All right.
Collared shirt, little golf shirt here. My T-shirt coming on. No, it's another T-shirt. Not T-shirts. What do you call it?
Thank you, Tyson.
There you go. So, yeah, go check out that wrestling thing. I had a good time. Listen, I hate all that wrestling shit, but it was fun, man. I would love to get Natalie down there. It would be fun. I don't know. It's July 8th, right?
The 15th.
Yeah, I'll try to see if I can get my daughter down there. That would be a lot of fun. We might be coming for down the shore already. It'd be even better. All right. Well, go to Dave's thing. It's fun. Trust me on this. You'll have a good time. Bring your kids. It's kid friendly. There's some stragglers at the Tiki Bar, but nothing like it's a kid event.
It's not a Tiki Monday. It's a Tiki Tuesday.
I got a huge audition after the telecast. I've had a couple. You know what? I've had a couple of at bats, bro, where I'm like, if I hit one out here, man, 2-2 count, slider, back door. The last one I thought I had a shot, had a callback. I didn't hear shit yet, but it's got a little time. This would be cool. I know some actors online. When I say I can go into detail about it, but it's not about that. I just say big audition. You know what? I'm 60 years old. I've been in the league a long time. And I always say, and Dave and I have had many discussions about the journey of showbiz, and the ups. And some days it's like you really feel good. Other days I'm using the phrase you want to go out, jump off a bridge. I don't mean it that way. I just mean some days you're like, hey man, I'm getting hit here, man. I need a good.
There's nobody up in the pen.
Yeah, it's like getaway, right? And no, it's awful. Either you strike out on an audition or a business thing, or you get a bill that right in the middle of it as you're taking punches and something goes wrong. You get a bill from an insurance thing or whatever it is, a medical thing. You forgot your daughter hurt her leg one day or something, and you're like, oof! And all of a sudden, like when you go back to the corner and your trainer says, "Are you hurt?" You say yes, and they put that
not enough ice. There's not enough ice.
They put that cold press thing right on your eyes and everything, and so
that fascinates me. By the way, when there's like a cut in like an MMA or a boxing fight, and they're just yoking at it, right? When I get a cut anywhere, I was like, "Don't touch it." I'll be like, "Ow!" And I just like, "Oh, ow!" I said to somebody yesterday when I was floating around in the ocean, I was like, "Listen, I may be coming off as a tough guy, right? But like, I'll take out anybody on this beach right now. But if a piece of seaweed hits my feet, I'm like, Dude, the worst.
The worst. I agree.
In the world.
So
horrible.
So that's why with these auditions, there's some guys online on Facebook. They sometimes talk about their. I guess I promote my shit on social media as well.
You should. That's the name of the game.
Sometimes though the way people word it, It's like, oh man, I just listen. In life, in my career now, you have big auditions. What I mean by big audition, that means it's just not a day's pay or a week pay. This would be multiple. If it's 10 episodes, I could be on 8 of them. It means
it's a game changer.
It's a game changer. It's a role. And I always judge at the end of the year when I have auditions. I look at how many auditions that I have, and then I look at what kinds of auditions: voiceover, on-camera commercials, TV and film. And then I always say, which one of these were game changers? Listen, I'd love to work on a film tomorrow, make about, what the hell it is for the day. Cool, right? God bless you. Movie comes out, you got 4 lines in the movie. Jimmy's in the movie. That's fine, but that ain't moving the needle. You know what I mean? We're 8 games back with 16 to play. So but when you get these auditions, you're like, hey, you know what? If I just foul it off down the line in the corner, the pesky pole is confusion. That's what I call big auditions, ones that can really change the game. And some of them are commercials. You book a big commercial for one of these drug companies to ask for 2 years. I can make $100,000 doing that, So
I'll never forget Deej's story about being the voice of Miller Lite, changed his life.
Unbelievable. and by the way, right? Okay. I was scoring 35 points a game. Deej checks in at the 809 mark and casually hits 5 threes in a row and made more money off that than I did all year. And I was like one of the best players in the league back then. My boy Deej. Yeah, that was a great one. He made a ton of money. And I think he had it for 2 years.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Good for him. Michael Deej was my roommate, plays Alphonse in Beer League. Those of you scoring at home. So, yeah, I got to do this thing as soon as the show's over. My buddy's coming over, but I got to give I'll give a shout out later. Also, in other news, not about myself, my daughter, Natalie Joan Palumbo, just completed her sophomore year. Best thing about a freshman, they become sophomores. And she made the honor roll, and she also got upgraded in her dance to the, I think it's 4.0 level, which is where she wanted to be. Last year with the injury, she had to kind of sit a year, had to play rookie ball for another year, even though she got better as the year went on. So a big shout out to my daughter. And of course, on Saturday, I'll be driving down to Cambridge, Maryland for
This is a great story.
the Nationals of down there. And of course, the event is at a resort in that part of Maryland that no one knows about. It's like an island kind of thing. There's bridges. It's off the like the ocean there. And the resort they're staying at is about $450 a night. So Jimmy took a look at his checkbook and said, and the next while I'm talking over. So I found this Holiday Inn.
Solid 2-star resort. They got air-conditioned works. We're good to go.
The kind that they put the new sign up so it looks nicer. Meanwhile, the building hasn't changed. I'll be staying there. However, my daughter's dancing on Saturday, and she does her solo. But my hotel reservation, Expedia, very funny. Tyson Hogan says Expedia wants to talk it over. Very funny. I love a quick 3 after a timeout. So I don't have a place to stay Saturday night because weekends, I remember I'm staying there from Sunday to Thursday, I guess. And it's 4th of July weekend. It's just a mess. So I am driving down early Saturday morning. It's 4 hours away. You think Maryland is close? No,
it doesn't seem that. Doesn't seem right.
And because you got to go down, then you got to head towards the water. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna be in DC before you know it.
It's like trying to get to Seabright from Colonia. By helicopter, it's 8 seconds. It's only 3 minutes closer than Manasquan. Go check that out, by the way. So I'm driving down there, and I'll get there in time I want to see her dance, her solo for sure. But then, I'm gonna be all right, I gotta go back out onto the highway and try to find a place to stay. What a loser! Oh my God, Jay knew. But actually, the hotel's not so bad. I'm busting balls, and I'm glad Natalie's going. The resort's really nice. They got pools there and restaurants and bars. So I'll be that guy mooching in, sir, your room number? That 221. I'll find out. First thing,
sir, we can't serve you if you're not staying at the resort. No, I'm staying at the resort. I'm in the suite over there. Sir, we don't have suites. The one over around the corner.
I'll be how early on Saturday will I be texting Natalie? Nat, what is your room number? They may not be allowed in the facility here. Maybe I'll get an extra key. But anyway, big shout out to her. It's a big weekend for her. She loves it. The girls go down there. They have a blast. It's a lot of dance. There is one day, though, I don't have much to do. I'm bringing the new Callaways here. I made golf at some awesome, they have a big golf course there. But it'll be 95 degrees. I'll be golfing. Only tee times are like 11 a.m.
Stay tuned. And also stay tuned for any updates about the Jimmy Palumbo Show on the road next week. So we'll have to figure that out as far as.
It looks like
I know it's not going to be Tuesday, you said.
No, because my daughter dances like 4 dances on Tuesday. It'll probably be Monday. We might do 11 a.m. You know what? Depends on my tea time here at Shea Analytics.
Priorities, folks.
I was supposed to actually, when the show's over, we got to test our audio with my AirPods. We may not be as crystal, although I guess we can go here with my hair, but it may work out. It may not sound that bad. Looking forward to that. In other news, in health news, Jimmy Palumbo walking out of a doctor's office yesterday, swarmed by the media as his second blood test of the day. And I am out of timeouts, and my kicker is not good and not great from 50 yards and out. And we're at our own 35. I'm okay basically, but my cholesterol went up. This is the health portion of the show. I'm at like 235 on cholesterol. I'm 217 pounds, I'm Thibodeau. I should be let go. There's no question about that. My triglycerides.
Weren't you like 181?
I don't know. I'm a mess.
And you legged out a fucking grand slam yesterday.
I know that. I look like a young Ron Hesse, Babe Hesse. No, it's awful. My triglycerides there's so many talking overs. My triglycerides want to talk it over. My A1C wants to talk it over, but it's not. It's right on the border. He's like, your next blood work is January. He basically told me like I could easily be let go mid-season.
You're looking at some pre-diabetic issues here.
You know what? I swear to God, if we're still doing this show in January, it's going to be called the Jimmy Palumbo Pre-Diabetic Show. We'll be right back. The guy's like, the doctor's nice. He's like, no, some of your numbers went down since January. And I'm like, all right, it wasn't that bad, So I said to him, you have to fast before you do the blood work. And I remembered that. Of course, I was with my daughter and the girls wanted to go for ice cream. And in my mind, I'm fasting by not having like a meal or alcohol or anything else like that. the casualness that I ordered a medium chocolate ice cream with syrup and sprinkles with no regard for the early morning. So I said to him, I go, hey, if you have like a kind of a big bowl of ice cream with chocolate syrup that I have before, he's like, well, how many hours before? I'm like 10. He's like, I think you'll be all right. I was like, what a
your
jerk.
Your triglycerides are high, but we're finding extra syrup in your bloodstream right now.
Sponsored by Hershey's syrup. And that's what I'm talking over. I realized I would be the worst rat or mouse in the world. I would be so excited. I'd get you killed. I'm like, Dave, there's cheese and crackers. It's right there. There's some kind of metal thing. We can get through that. And then we both die, and then I would still try to eat it when your head snapped off. I'd still try to eat the cheese, and it'd be one down the road.
When I was living at home with my dad, we had a mouse problem where like there was a couple days where we're like, damn, we got to catch these mice, and like he sets up a bunch of traps, and we're all me, my dad watching TV or something like that. We just hear,
oh, it's the worst.
I'm like, the fuck was that? And he's like, I think it was the trap, and we look up, dude. It got him on the neck. His eyes popped out of his head. And I was like, holy shit, this thing works.
When I lived in the city, I did the same thing. I thought we might have had, because the lady renovated next door. Mm-hmm. So I made sure. But all of a sudden, I saw some like the little droppings. We had a very clean apartment. Me and Deej were big on that. It was renovated before we moved in. And I put one right by the heater thing. And all of a sudden, middle of the night, same thing. I was like, oh. So then Deej is like, oh, what are you going to do with it? I'm like, throwing it out in the garbage. I don't want to deal with it anymore. So someone said, but it freaked me out. I felt bad. So I said, you know what? I'll do the glue traps, right? I thought that was more humane. However, it's not. You know why? Those glue traps, as soon as they touch the glue trap, it's over. What happens is they're not stuck. the thing is, he was sniffing around. I'm telling you, what happens is they don't die.
His fucking face gets stuck.
They don't. That's exactly the bottom of their neck. Like my chin, I'd be right for. So what happens is they start to flip around, and they're flipping around, and all you hear is the paper. It sounds like this.
Oh, man.
And I thought it was like the wind coming through. Because I thought, next thing I look over, I'm like, oh, dude. And the mouse gave me a look like, dude, you gotta put me out. I can't do this anymore. I threw him in the garbage, everything out. However, I went to the local hardware store. I don't know if you've ever done. Anybody out there, go to Home Depot or a local hardware store and go to the rat mouse trap area. And most mouse traps are like 1 inch by 3 inches, 4 inches. You know what I mean? The normal. You got to see some of the traps that they have in that. You know how much
straight out of Ghostbusters, the fucking massive.
You know how what a pussy you are doing the mouse trap. You don't want to get your fingers in.
All right.
They have one that is the size of this piece of paper with this big iron bar, and you're like, "What the fuck are you? What are you catching in that thing? Where you don't hire a
raccoons? Actually, raccoons.
You got to be." And that thing is dead. That thing comes around. I looked at the guy. Goes, some people, I got some big Adam. I'm like, no. That should be banned. That'll kill a child. Anyway, so I got my sister's up my ass. She says I'm a fat fuck. And I can't argue. You know what? I have no argument. I feel like what's his name? Playoffs.
Jim Mora.
Practice. It's terrible, but yet I don't feel that bad. Still swinging a bat well, playing a little pickleball.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you.
It's like, I feel fine. Like, yeah, that's fine. But your insides look like shit.
I gotta lose weight. Fans are, season tickets are down.
I got an idea. Go stand outside for like 20 minutes.
Stand outside. I'll lose 25 pounds. Of course, we're getting Tyson and Darryl Clark with Beer League. I need to get an egg omelet with very little oil and grapefruit juice. Oh, my God. So, anyway, Absolute Eyewear. That's right. 42 Main Street, Woodbridge, New Jersey, 732-326-3937. Go and talk to Janine Michaud with her messed up hand from getting cat scratch fever. They have everything over there. Charles Oakley did not get bit by the cat. Those of you who are texting me about that, go check out. They're great eyeglass, prescription eyewear. They got everything over there. Go check them out and say hello to Jay Bird and Craig, who had to work overtime because Janine was on the injury reserve.
It's kind of a norm, though. Anytime I've stepped into that place in the last 6 months, it's only been Craig.
It's only Craig, I know.
I never see Janine working.
Yeah, she don't work there.
I know she works, but I just time it terribly. Charles Oakley checks your cholesterol.
That's it. You know what? Tyson Hogan's good. We're going to have 3 hosts.
I'm out of here. Yeah, I was going to say, Tyson, you can take my spot anytime you want, dude.
Well, the best player of the Yankees continues to be Giancarlo Stanton, even though he has 8 strikeouts in the last 3 games.
He's back to swinging the toothpick again.
Yes, but he still looks cool at the plate. I think he looks good for compared to how he usually looks coming off an injury. I think he looks all right. Yankees, though, I tell you, there is. I don't. You know what? What are they? 2 games up now. I haven't looked. I don't think the Yankees got enough fuel to land a plane. I think they're over the ocean, and the pilots. How many gallons?
I mean, you get to the trade deadline, and hopefully they can make some moves. Because I tell you right now, as much of a paisan as I used to say Volpe was, I want him shot into the fucking sun. I can't go another game of watching him come up to bat and stink there and then have him make another error in the field. All right, listen, guys, if he's not it, just come to terms with that. Like, all right, you know what? He was a fun story. Jersey kid, Italian, growing up good, blah, blah, blah. He comes to the bigs. Wow, what a moment. Guess what, guys? We need major league players to play at shortstop. And I know you can't compare him to fucking Jeter, but that's what every fan does. When you replace him, when you replace a guy like Derek Jeter, you had your years with Didi Gregorius. He was great when he had to be. There was times where I wanted to, cut him too. But Volpe, it's over, bro.
Listen,
I'm sorry. There's no coming back from all this shit. There really is.
That was an early prediction from the Jimmy Palumbo Show. Volpe stinks. Stanton is great. I'm right on those counts. I tell you what, I can't. Something about a shortstop. I know there's guys. This might be Jeter's best attribute, even though he got 11,000 hits. Who cares? I like when you play shortstop, major leagues. when you get a ground ball hit to you, you just got to make the play. I don't want to hear about diving over the bag, all this different stuff. That's all well and good. The regular ground balls, you got to make the play. And I think Jeter, I swear, I don't remember him. Now I'm sounding like my dad now talking about Joe DiMaggio.
Well,
Jeter, listen, was A-Rod a better shortstop? No more? Yes. But you know what? 8th inning, 2nd and 3rd, 2 out, a little chopper in the hole. Jeter got all those. And Volpe,
it's not even just him kicking the ball around in the field. It's literally yesterday, ground ball, Volpe fields, and the throw is wide. And I'm like,
he's pressing now.
Yeah. Listen. In all reality, the Yankees are not going to send down or designate him for assignment. They're not going to do that. But in reality, Boone should say, "Listen, bro, take a couple days. Take the bench."
Don't they have a shortstop? Like that's went from A ball to double A.
Yeah, of course they do. But again, what are we going to do? We're going to do the same thing. This guy's going to replace Volpe. Thank God. And then he's going to get there, strike out 3 times. You're like, okay, maybe it wasn't the right time. You can't. The problem is the Yankees' expectations are always, or the Yankees fans' expectations are always very. If we're not in the fucking World Series, we stink. And it's like, and that should be the mentality of every team.
The Yankees just don't. And it's not a Boone thing.
They're allergic to runners in scoring position, apparently, too.
Well, those stats with a runner on second in the extra innings, they never score. I feel like the Yankees never get 3 hits in a row. Anyway, the Yankees, listen, they're still winning. They're in first place. I just don't see they have enough fuel to get over. And their roster isn't as good as like the Dodgers and other teams like that.
I don't have to worry about the Dodgers.
And then, of course, the Mets stink. The Mets are 1-9. The
Mets finally got a win the other night, and Soto hits 2 home runs in one game. You're like, ooh, there he is.
Listen, he's batting 255. I'm guessing. I would say Soto will probably finish the season batting. I'm going to say 270.
I was going to say 270 sounds around.
I don't think it's going to be higher than that.
No,
you got to bat like 400 the rest
last year you called it where he was starting to decline a little bit on his batting average. And again, you can't compare him to Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is having an all-world year, but even Aaron Judge has slipped up a little bit now. And
you're
looking at his batting average. I think it's like 360 now or something like that. Where
like 400, yep.
Yeah, so that should
drop
fast.
Alonso stunk last year.
He fucking stinks.
They signed him.
Alonso is such a nozzle. He's such a weird
his
cat.
Numbers are crashing. So anyway, also Rutgers football is losing recruits by the hour. The NIL,
single game tickets now on sale. I got the email this morning.
The Scarlet McKnights, but they signed all these guys. But the new thing is, teams like Rutgers, they sign guys. They get commitments, and then they just take offers from other schools. So if Rutgers is giving you $100,000, and some other school that's kind of equal, or maybe like a Central Florida or even somewhere else in the Power 5. Like, how could you tell your kid?
You tell me. You're the Rutgers savant here. What, besides if you're a Greg Schiano guy, fine, right? But what's appealing about playing for the Rutgers Scarlet McKnights as opposed to some other school, some other state? What's the appeal?
Okay, number one, it's in the Big Ten.
Fine.
That's number one. It's big.
But also recognize that. Because if you're in the Big Ten, that means you're going to go up against some of the best.
Doesn't
teams
matter.
In college football.
It's still Big Ten. Second thing is Schiano himself. There is a program there. There is stability, and for the right families, when they run into Schiano, also Schiano has very good coaches in terms of preparing guys for the NFL. If you divide the number one team in the country, and I'll argue this, you divide college wins divided by how many guys are in the NFL, we have to be number one. I mean, Alabama goes 12-0, and they send a bunch of guys to the NFL. We win 4 games, and we still send a bunch of guys to the NFL. Schiano prepares them for the NFL. That's another well-known fact. And the third thing would be it's a decent academic school, but that's it. And also playing in the tri-state area, that's it.
When they're making their commitments.
No, that's it. That's it. The big negatives are there's no NIL money there. And
well, that's what I'm saying. Now that you're in this new age scenario, what's to stop anybody from, I'm going to commit to Rutgers, and then Florida comes out of nowhere and says, hey, we'll give you $1 million if you want to come over here. And sure, done.
It's a very tough. It's tough, and the campus isn't pretty like Penn State's. It's not in one spot. You got rivers in between, New Brunswick, Piscataway. But you know what? Winning solves everything because nobody would care about Villanova or Duke or some of these other schools if they didn't have a good football program. I truly believe sports gets you a higher ranking in terms of what people feel. But a lot of the rankings, Rutgers is a very good school. But yeah, the money, we don't have a guy like the guy.
You're not going to be able to run with that. You're not.
But Shiano is a decent coach. There's stability there. A lot of families like. So
Johnny Bach, well, first of all, there's some comments coming in saying we should get together for a game this fall. And I agree with Tyson, Rutgers, because Johnny Bach says, good call, make it a Giants-Dallas game. Yeah, okay. Not sit with you motherfuckers during that shit.
No.
And by the way,
maybe I will. You know
that game is in New York on New Year's weekend or whatever, so it'll be fucking brick cold. So no dice on that. I'll much rather do a Rutgers game.
You know what? I will. I'll sit with you for a Giant. I'd have a blast with that. You would be a riot. You and your brother yelling and shit. I would
listen. You got the tickets. I'll go. I'm just saying.
Let me find out about that. I may have.
Your brother's not.
They will talk to Venditti. We'll talk to Venditti. It'll be
yeah, it's true.
Also, other news,
I haven't been banned from the stadium yet, so that's good.
You're not a guy who gets banned. You like to watch the game.
No, I'm very quiet during the games. Right. I'm very quiet. Like,
no, I'm sure you yell and cheer, but you don't.
No, but I'm saying like I don't pick fights with the guy next to me or anything like that. I just fucking watch the game and that's it. Like that's why like when I go out to Dallas, they love me there.
You can never mock out someone for cheering for the team at a game.
No.
In other news, tomorrow night we get to finally conclude the Bailey Harper scenario at Rutgers. I'm so sick of hearing this. Right now they haven't picked. It looks like Harper's going to go to the Spurs at the 2-hole, and Bailey's going to go 4 to the Hornets. That's the latest thing I read.
Oh, he's not 3 no more?
No, he slipped. I think.
Interesting.
I'm going to go with this. I think they're going to be bust in the NBA. I like the kids. I hope they do well. It's nothing personal. It's just that I watched them play, and Rutgers stunk with 2 players.
Once again, Rutgers will get the publicity. Hey, that's where they went to school.
I think it's negative publicity.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, again, you
How
go
can
to
you have 2 top 5 picks and not make the NIT? It ain't the coach's fault at that point. It's basketball. Bring the ball up, put it in the basket. Anyway.
And I'm wondering, and that's what I said about guys like Daniel Jones. When the Giants went out on a limb and took Daniel Jones, and I'm like, wait, like I forgot Duke even had a fucking football program. You know what I mean? Right. Like, so it really depends on your opponents. And if these guys couldn't make the NIT, 2 out of guess what, guys? Just 5 players on the court, right? So if they couldn't take over games in college, what makes you actually think that these guys are going to be like these gangbusters in the fucking NBA? No way.
I'm not an NBA guy, but because of the Knicks, I watched a lot more basketball this playoffs.
I watched the Game 7 the other night. I was okay with that.
All I kept saying to myself was, these guys can't play. Like Harper and Bailey could not have been on the court the other night. No way. Where are they going to play? Like they can't play on the Knicks.
Tell you what, you never want to root for injuries. Things are like catastrophic. They're nasty. Another Achilles
I'm worried about
tear.
my Achilles.
Well, yes, dude. But I'm saying like now Vegas has the Knicks as the favorite to come out of the East next year.
We don't have a coach.
I'm just saying because of the fact that Jason Tatum's out next year. Jason Tatum's out next year. We don't have a
coach.
Halliburton's out next year.
We don't have a coach, and there's a draft tomorrow night.
But maybe that happens today because I know that is kind of fucking weird. I'm sorry. Like coach comes in for an interview and like he's like, yeah, I'm hoping to grab this job before the draft. It's a big draft for us, and they're like, yeah, no, we'll see you after. The GM is going to make all the decisions.
Don't forget, of course, Oxy. Magic USA, OXY, Magic USA. Dave with a quick point up to our fine graphic. If your carpets are filthy, that's where you got to go. Dave and I have used it. Our carpets weren't that bad, but maybe they got a little shin guard there. It should be called shin guard carpet clean. Go check it out. Also, I got to give a shout out to your friend and mine, my good buddy here in Ramsey. It's very rare. I moved to Ramsey. I was 42, and my next door neighbor, and I moved 4 times in Ramsey. My good friend Dave DeLisi, who actually helps me with every one of my auditions. He comes here. All I got to do is give him a vodka tonic. He's good to go. He helps me out after work. He just retired on Friday.
Congratulations.
So just a shout out to Dave DeLisi. Same job for 40 years. I think your dad worked there.
And my father just pulled that off, yeah.
And same place. I'm glad he's out of there. Not really a fan of where he worked. I'll leave it at that. And he's just great guy. He's friends to everybody. He'll do anything for you. Most helpful guy ever. He's probably standing outside my door right now waiting for the show to end. Of course, Dave Sercho's waiting for the show to end as well. I got to tell you one thing, though. So I bartended. So shout out to Dave DeLisi. Love you, man. So a shout out and also to Jeremy, who plays pickleball, who listens to the show, who's also friends with Dave. I was bartending Saturday night for a high school party, okay? And it was the land of Shirley Temples. Everybody's 18, right? A lot of them anyway.
What the fuck are you a bartender for?
Okay, but the adults were having cocktails. So this one girl comes up and I knew she was in high school because it's her demeanor, but she was big and strong, big right.
Tread lightly, Jimmy.
Right? I know. So what she says to me? She goes, "Can I get it to Shirley Temple?" And she said, "I'm like, sure." I start to make it. And she says to me, she didn't mean it this way, but she goes, "Hey," she gets quiet. She's like, "Anywhere you can dirty me up on that one?" And I was like, she goes, I was like, "Oh, you mean add vodka to it?" I was like, I said, "No, I'm not going to do that. I'll give you more. I'll give you more grenadine." But I was like, "Anyway, you can dirty me up." I was like, I called it immediate. I'm like, I said, whatever you do in life, don't ever phrase to a bartender that way. It's a wrong thing. I was like, oh my God, it's awful. I'm 60 years old. They're dirty me up with a Shirley Temple Day here at Shea. Awful. Turns out, no. Anyway,
turns out gave her double.
Turns out she was 24, and with 6 seconds to go, no, I was just like, dirty me up. That's the phrase they use for adding vodka.
Listen, if I wish I can keep up with the lingo nowadays. I can't do it.
I
Sometimes I used to have to go to Chris Gucci for these things because he dates a 25-year-old. So I was just like, I don't know what any of these words mean, but I'm just gonna start saying them. Fuck it.
There's nothing better than a cheap shot on Chris Gucci here.
Oh, stop. Not a cheap shot at all. God bless, bro. Are you fucking kidding? 40-year-old man. Like, come on.
Couple of things. I had finished the show Goliath with Billy Bob Thornton. I suggest you watch that. Very good.
I started The Waterfront.
I know. I want to watch that too. I want to add it
cool
too.
It's good shit.
And of course, your friend of mine, Black Mirror. I'm in season 5 now.
I'm not doing it.
Dude, they had one on Black Mirror where you get part of a system and you have this little like Olive Garden thing waiting for your table, and they set you up on a date, and you go to a date and you both hit the button at the same time, and it tells you how long you have to date, but you have to date. So the first 2, it's 12 hours, and they give you a place to go, like a villa. You go right your dates, right? And you have sex right away because you have to. It's only 12 hours. The guy goes on a date and he hates the girl. He hits the button 5 years, and all they did was cut to the guy in the house like, oh. It's like 5 years. And he's like, and the girl goes out with a real like good looking guy, but he's a real douche. And she gets like 4 years, and she's like, they just cut to these people like in the bedroom, brushing their teeth, like, oh my God, what a bad idea. And you can't get out of it. You have to stick it out.
Wow.
But it's a real Twilight Zone kind of thing, but a cool thing happens at the end. You got to watch the show Black Mirror, man. Get by the pig episode. Skip this episode 3, because the second one I still don't understand. Anyway, obviously, I hope for world peace. I know Dave's a little more political than I am, but
listen, I'll tell you right now, I'm not political, but I will give credit where credit is due when it's due. And if I'm too premature on some of these things,
you were a little bit.
I was also 11 tiki teas deep yesterday when I'm fucking typing shit. I'm like, oh, look at us, we're winning over here. And dude, I heard his words today.
First of all,
he's
very
unhinged
rarely,
right now, dude.
Unhinged. Yes, very rarely, because I hate politics now. It's shitty.
It's annoying. It's fucking annoying shit.
Very rarely do I, when I'm watching Fox News or CNN, I love skipping around and see how they spin everything. Very rarely do I laugh out loud like I'm watching Curb when they were peppering Trump with questions, and you could tell he was just like, I cut a deal. He just says, and all of a sudden he goes, they've been fighting for a long time. Neither one of them knows what the fuck they are doing. I tell you what, I didn't see that coming.
I laughed my ass off. I'm like, he is finally at his breaking point where people are just like, you know what? Do me a favor. Just shut the fuck up. Everybody just shut the fuck up. And I'm like, I don't care.
Beautiful. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. And that's not a political statement, but that is just like someone. He looked like a coach that was just like
throwing the headset off and shit.
Oh my God! And he leaned. And the best part about it, he leaned in and he said something like, "Is that? Can you sit? You want to hear that?
Understand that? You understand that? Yeah. Oh my God!
Then,
you can tell.
They cut to the talking heads and they're like, they cut back to the talking. They're like,
"We're sorry for the language."
Speaking at the Andrews Air Force Base.
CNN. He's like, CNN, spineless jerk offs, like fuck them, and I'm like. Holy shit. Imagine being Turner or whoever owns CNN. God. He goes, you don't even know who owns CNN because it's been bought and purchased so many times.
It's listen, but when he says they don't know what the fuck they're doing, that made me laugh out loud. Very rarely does politics make me laugh because the whole thing is pathetic. So I hope, wish the world peace. And he's on his way to a NATO summit, which is even better. Like, he's on his way to solve things.
Every time every time he's getting word, you can always hear the chopper or the engine in the back, like in the background, like he's getting on a plane again. Like, oh, okay.
Oh my God, Biden got on a plane maybe once in 4 years. Anyway, so I pray for world peace though, because man,
of course,
that's some serious.
Well, I was saying that the other day. I think I was at my dad's pool and we're just like, swimming around. I got the family having a good time. And I said, man, I was like, imagine being over there in Iran or Israel. You can't have a leisure day because it's like, leisure day. I'm going to go in the pool. What is that? And you're looking at a fucking missile coming over at you.
Well, I've been saying, people say, oh, you got to go to Israel, check out where Jesus walked. I'm like,
get the fuck out of here.
I don't want to go to the Middle East. I don't want to go to Dubai. I don't even want to go to Mexico. You know what? I want to go to St. Louis. That's what I would. Jimmy's vacationing.
The closest I'll get to the border is Dallas, Texas. That's it.
Even that's even borderline too close.
I tell you what? My Mexicano Cowboy fans are out there. They're there too. You know what I mean?
My God! I could never. Could you imagine living in an area where, like, honey, what are you doing today? Well, we might get bombed, but you know what? I got to go pick up fish. And
but they're talking about it like it's the weather. Like we're sitting there, it's like, oh, today's going to be a little partly cloudy, maybe a scattered thunderstorm later on in the evening. You're over there in Israel or Iran, and you're like, yeah, it's I'm going to watch some TV, but just go watch out for the missiles.
I know. What? And they have that. By the way, that Golden Dome thing they have, whatever it's called, it works. But see,
there's some that sneak through.
That's what I'm saying. In other words, that's like saying, "Oh, I got a shutdown corner." All of a sudden, yeah, but it's CeeDee Lamb might get open.
You're right. What if he stubs his toe trying to cover you? He's gone. He's gone.
I know.
Yeah.
I could never. I don't even like when I lived in LA. I lived in one area just one time for 4 months, and it wasn't that safe.
70%. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You can't even hang out in the pool or anything.
No, what do you do?
Enjoy yourself.
Hey, honey, me and Miles are going to go for a walk.
Oh, look, a shooting star. No, that's well. Take cover.
And by the way, it's not like you can go, Miles, look out.
Right, and the news people, they're so commonplace. They're in bunkers and shit. They're like, I was struck 8 times today, and there's probably a chance of another couple. And you're like, wait, then get the fuck out of there. Like, what are we doing here?
If that was me, I'd be like, oh, I'll go there. I want to get paid $1 million a minute. I want to get paid to fly there. And then how about this? Sometimes
this isn't traveling the country. They're putting you in a war zone. Like, this is not fun.
And then they announced I was able to get here on a B-52 bomber strapped in. I'm like, I went to Syracuse Communication Department. I'm strapped in on a B-52.
How'd you get there? Well, they dropped the bomb first, and then they dropped me out of the plane, and I landed. It was perfect.
And of course, I'd be like, Jimmy Palumbo Show live here from a B-17 high above the Emirates.
What are being called magnificent machines, and we're here. Oh man!
Anyway, don't forget.
I do want to give credit to Trump the other night for his speech, and they're like, coming up, he's going to address the nation at 10. So I'm like, all right, I got to caffeinate because he's got to talk for 4 hours.
No, he was quick.
For like 8 minutes. He's like, and yeah, I'm out. And he left. I was like, the fuck was that?
Yeah, he knew he couldn't. I mean, because that was a big thing.
I know.
For now, but you know what? The news cycle is like we'll be talking about that. Thibodeau getting fired tomorrow.
Right.
Don't forget One Bite Creative for all your website services. Don't forget cornholelevel.com. That's right. Get your certainly Iran's cornhole had issues the other day. And don't forget the Pine Tar Bar and Grill in Fork and River. Go talk to my buddy Tommy. Have a cocktail. And Lisa Ruane, 201-725-1251. And that will do it here. This was a fun show. We will let you know what's going on next week. I'm assuming it's going to be probably Monday at 1, because usually that works for you. And
I thought it was Monday at 11, but whatever.
Maybe it's 11. I will.
I'm open. So we'll do it.
We'll look online. Also, please subscribe to YouTube channel.
Please like the video on YouTube.
Yeah,
it helps
the video.
push
I need help with that.
else.
That includes all of Tyson Hogan's family, his parents, grandparents, cousins, second cousins. Go on.
Last week it worked. The view count of last week's episode was pretty good. So yeah, keep spreading the word.
Try to do that. We want to have one location. I went on 23andme.com. I put in Tyson Hogan and Darryl Clark, trying to look for 8 cousins. There is someone that I'm trying to get a Patreon. They live in Zimbabwe, and it's
guys, just create a bunch of Gmail accounts and subscribe. Nobody cares. They're free. It's free.
We need it. Anyway, all right, that's it.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.